For more on the grounding of the Tiger fleet, I'm joined now by Barry Jackson, who's the president of the Australian and International Pilots Association. Barry, thank you very much for coming in this morning. First of all, your response to the reaction. CASA says they've never had something this big with an Australian airline before.
Well, in 2001, Ansett were grounded twice due to maintenance issues.
On this kind of scale, though?
Well, it's grounded, but probably not for as long as this. But this is very, very serious for Tiger and for their reputation, their profit. Peter
Gibson from CASA said that it wasn't beyond Tiger addressing these problems. Do you see it that way?
They've got a lot of work to do by the sounds of it. They've been given a show notice cause earlier this year in March, so they are aware of the issues and the concerns.
So that's basically a notice saying that CASA is aware of a lot of mistakes and problems in their operations?
Yes, and it's an opportunity for them to address those concerns, and obviously they haven't been addressed to CASA's satisfaction, so they've taken this drastic action.
Can you explain why the flying at a low altitude, apparently the incidents in Melbourne, why is that so dangerous, and why do you think the pilots undertook that action?
Well, I'm not going to talk about the individual incidents. That's obviously going to take time with the ATSB investigating those particular incidents. However, when you're approaching an airport to land, there's a certain set of altitudes that you must not go below, and they have a certain amount of latitude, but certainly to go below them is something that, as professional pilots in cloud, is something we are taught never to do.
So is that an issue of experience or lack of experience?
Well, obviously there's more to this than just those particular incidents. Obviously there's a systemic problem with the pilot training.
In Tiger particularly?
Well, we have a concern about the whole industry. In fact, we made submission to the Senate inquiry earlier this year to talk about pilot training and safety reporting, because we believe the low-cost carrier regime is putting pressure not only on their own operations but also on the established carriers to compete and cut costs.
I believe the Senate inquiry recommended a minimum of 1,500 flying hours for a pilot, but a lot of the budget airlines, it's 200 hours. Is that correct, according to your knowledge?
That is, there is programs throughout the world, and including Australia. Jetstar has one where pilots can be flying as low as 200 hours. We have concern about that. The recommendations made in the US Senate actually recommended 1,500 hours until there's an exploration of the industry. Obviously there's new programs, new technology which may reduce that 1,500 hours, but currently in Australia it's 1,500 hours to hold an air transport pilot's licence.
Do you agree with CASA that Tiger can rectify these problems?
I never say never. I think there's a lot of work to be done, obviously.
You don't seem confident.
It's up to them. It's for them to actually suffer this. It's a huge, as I say, consequence to their reputation and their bottom line. So it's in their best interest to get those issues sorted and get airborne again.
What kind of message does this send to the travelling public?
Well, one good message it sends is the regulator is doing its job. It's a bit of a wake-up call to the other airlines to make sure they do adhere to safety standards, minimum safety standards, and ensure that we keep the industry safe.
Are budget airlines riskier to travel on than regular airlines?
Well, they shouldn't be.
Are they? In Australia?
I'd have to say they are, because they do cut costs, and they certainly do have a regime of fairly inexperienced pilots. But we're trying to address that. Obviously, if you're paying a low-cost fare, then it surely shouldn't be a low safe travel that you.
But at the moment, you feel it is somewhat compromised.
We are
concerned.
Safety. We are concerned about, and that's why we made a paper, put a paper together for the Senate, expressing our concern about the industry, not about just pilot standards, but the whole industry, the maintenance side of things, the reporting cultures that we seem to be seeing throughout the industry, and overall that has a lowering of standards for the travelling public.
Barry Jackson, I appreciate you coming in this morning. Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure.